we do talk about bits, bytes and number of customers and other things, but rarely we talk about the quality of service. And I think in the last about a year that I have been here, at least I have been talking of not very many subjects except quality of service. And all the telecom service providers, largely, they don't like me. Because of this issue, because I tell them that, look, you have made a world-class network. And we are proud of, the country is proud of that, this one sector which has done so well in this country and which has really reached 1 billion people now. And every Indian is talking, and we are having 11 billion minutes of talk time every day. So these are huge numbers, and you have scaled up, reached every nook and corner of the country. But then I think you also need to build a world-class quality of service. Because if we can't provide service, then just the network provisioning will not be really a great thing to do. So I have been, we at TRAI have been focusing on the quality of service, and we had taken a number of steps. Many of you are aware of those steps, and they were not, found favor by the honorable courts of this country, the Supreme Court. So somehow it didn't work out. But that has not, sort of held us back from continuing to work in that space, and we continue to work both in the voice quality space as also in the data quality. Voice quality, the issues of call drops, issues of congestions and other things are well known, and people are quite, there are a large number of customers who do voice. The issues relating to data quality are not that well known, but I think most of us in this hall I'm sure must have grappled with those issues, because we do download and we do surfing on the net and do download data. What has happened in this country is that compared to other countries in the West and USA and Europe and other places, there what has happened is that the mix of the data download typically takes place when you are mobile. Obviously you read news and you do stuff on your mobile wireless, but when you are at home or at office, you don't use your mobile phones. You basically use a fixed line network, and you use that even digital cable TVs, for example. These things are being used very extensively for broadband, and the speed obviously is much more, and it is much more reliable. It is much more robust. Unfortunately, in India, when this telecom revolution came, we just had 20 million, fixed lines, and that they have never increased after that. In fact, their numbers have been reducing, and we don't have this digital cable TV being used for providing bandwidth at home. So essentially, what has happened is that the base of users who have access to the fixed line is very small, and which actually could have given you a robust part. We are all therefore depending on the wireless systems to provide us the data requirement of the country. And my view is that unless you have a fixed line infrastructure, and unless you do something about it, I think the data demand is not going to be satisfied from the wireless network. I mean, you may have 4G, 5G and all those Gs will come, but still I think it will not be as robust, because whenever we try to fix, let's say, minimum download speed, we say, we are told that, look, the laws of physics don't allow you to fix that minimum download speed, because when you are moving, or it's a wireless network, and therefore something may happen outside, and it's not, you can't ensure that you will have minimum download speed of X amount. The result is that you will never have those kinds of things. We are trying to work out as to what should be the other parameters, quality parameters for the broadband speeds in the wireless situation. But we have not yet got a very satisfactory solution. We at our end have been trying, call drop part I explained to you in the voice world. In the data world, we have been now trying since last couple of months on various other methods to measure the data download speeds. And one method we have applied is actually crowdsourcing. So we have now a speed measurement application which people can download, and thereafter this speed measurement, part it just uploads the data, takes the GPS, it doesn't take the mobile number, etc. It takes the service provider and the GPS coordinates, and then it uploads, and then we are able to create a map which actually shows service provider wise data download speed obtained in various geographies of the country. So essentially that's one way, and I am happy to say that more than 500,000 people have downloaded this app, and we have approximately 6 million data points which have happened in the last 1 month or so, which are plotting, and we have created an analytics portal in TRAI, on TRAI website, and that analytics portal shows the download speeds in various areas, and you can actually go down and you can see what is the number of samples which exist for this particular location, what is the average download speed for various service providers. So that's one thing which we have done. The mandate to the service providers to maintain certain download speed, assure some download speed, that has not happened because of this law of physics type. So we can't do much about that. On the other part, which is how is the call quality on the 2G networks, voice networks, so to say, we have created another in that same analytics portal, we have created a map which actually provides tower wise the granularity of call drops, coverage, and other parameters, broad parameters of quality of service are provided on that portal. So that's another one. Of course, the data for that comes from the TSPs, telecom service providers, and we believe that the data is correct data. It's not manipulated in some sense. So we are just displaying that data, and it's a very useful application. Then you can figure out in your locality how the call quality is. So we have started a number of initiatives to kind of measure the quality of service both in the voice world and also in the data world. But I'm sure much more needs to be done. In fact, we have recently floated a consultation paper where we are asking as to what should be if minimum download speed cannot be assured in a wireless medium, what should be the other parameter? For example, you can have in a window what is the average speed which the telecom service providers can ensure or assure to people, saying that okay, if you take this connection, this particular plan, then I'll ensure you that in a given window of, let's say, 30 minutes, whatever that window size you can prescribe, on an average you will get speed beyond this. So while the laws of physics may mean that at some moment in that window you may have zero speed, but overall the average speed will be so much. So we are continuously working with the telecom service providers to ensure the quality of service. But I must say that personally, both in the data world as also in the voice world, we are not very happy at the experience. The voice, what has happened is that because of the congestion levels, networks are working, and my friend Uday tells me that networks typically should work at 60 to 65% capacity. In many areas, the networks are working at 95% capacity. So they are highly, because the customers are 1 billion customers. 1 billion people are using those voice networks, and therefore there are other issues of infrastructure, congestion, bandwidth availability. Those issues are there. Some issues which are within our control, we are trying to, for example, the auctioning of the spectrum is scheduled, as you know, which will increase the availability of the spectrum, because that's something which is given as one of the reasons as to why the quality of service has not been able to be improved. So that's one part. Of course, there are other things, investments in the sectors, more towers. There are also issues related to some colonies or some RWAs don't allow the towers to be put in because they have a feeling that the towers are health hazard and they cause cancer, which is completely bogus argument. And towers don't emit anything except the radio waves which they work on, so therefore they can't cause cancers. But nevertheless, these things happen. So there are multiple factors which actually inhibit or which restrict the improvement in the quality of service. But I think within all these constraints, we should be able to, we are working continuously towards that. I didn't talk about the other steps which are being taken, and I think let me share those two small steps with you. One is this in-building solutions, what we are talking about, like you are sharing towers now. And what happens in the high-rise buildings and those things, if you start having in-building infrastructure, which is actually a common carrier kind of infrastructure, so that you don't actually just get locked on to one service provider and the others don't have access there. So I think common solution to provide non-discriminatory access to all the service providers will probably help in that quality of service. Second thing which we have done, and I think that will be a great idea if you can, some of you can give some thoughts to it, is actually how we can leverage Wi-Fi in public places and how we can create a Wi-Fi grid, also supported by CPU, as Ajay says, at those local points, so that some kind of, now you have miniature servers which can be kept and some content can be just cached there. And so how can we use this unlicensed spectrum at the last mile connectivity provided for data? That's a paper which we have issued. In fact, we are Uday is organizing a presentation in Bangalore. We are actually going to Bangalore on 28th of this month to again have some more brainstorm on that. And there are a number of models which have been given, and I think there is a huge response to this particular paper which says that this is very timely and this will resolve a lot of these issues, because in India we have the tradition of community infrastructure. We have the common service centers which are delivering services where everybody can't have computers. Similarly, if we can have these community points where every time I don't have to do my OTP and attach my instruments, etc. If I can have one-time authentication of my device and thereafter attach my payment instrument with that, and then I can have seamless access to the Wi-Fi hotspots throughout the country without again and again doing the same thing. That will be a great idea, and we are working on it.